So now we get to hear from Theo Thomas, who is the London Waterkeeper. Theo Thomas was elected to the Waterkeeper Council in 2017, and he serves as the representative for the international region. Theo founded London Waterkeeper to be a truly independent voice for the capital's rivers. He is the only waterkeeper in the UK, but he hopes others will also be inspired to set up their own programmes. He was a BBC news journalist in the East Midlands before combining his passion for the environment with social justice. Theo worked for Thames 21 for 12 years, leading its work on water quality, citizen science and sustainable drainage. And he has a vision for a swimmable River Thames, which will see thousands of people benefit from improved physical and mental health and transform the city's relationship with the river itself. So, Theo, over to you.
Thank you, Andrew. And thank you very much for having me. I've been rewilding my hair in preparation for today's event. Of course, it's taken many months, and it's, as you'll see, not always compliant, but that's for a different day. I think that I'll just say a little bit about what London Waterkeeper is. It's about defending London's rivers from pollution and also sort of advocating the solutions to that, challenging the pollution, but we need a new future. We need to see a new way that our cities and the places where we live can be, and clearly suds are a part of that solution. A lot of our rivers get polluted from the stuff that gets washed off roads, misconnections, and that really hampers any chance they have of recovering and of being in sort of the flourishing places that we need them to be, because so many of them run through, as you've heard today, where we live, and they should be assets to our communities. And then because we've paved so much of our urban areas and towns, then the water, when it does fall, when it should be relief to those environments, is sadly sort of funneled through at high velocity, and if anything has re-established itself, it's going to get sort of washed out by that sort of high-powered flash flood event that comes through. So suds clearly are part of the future for all of those reasons. And when I visit different sort of sud schemes and you sort of immerse yourselves in that landscape, then you are in essentially a rewilded landscape. And while there are many parts of the country that can be rewilded, we have to have it in our urban areas. And why are these rewilded places? Well, because they absorb rain, so they act more like wild areas. They give people a different way of experiencing their local landscape. So it isn't just about taking the straightest route from one point to another. You can deviate, you can explore, and that's a very different experience, a transformative experience. And they are more fun. They allow people to be more wild in their behavior, to be more feral, to just experience stuff. We're all talking about sort of mindfulness and things like that. Well, we need places for that to happen that are outside. And some of them are large schemes, which if you were sort of taken there blindfolded and unveiled in front of you, you wouldn't necessarily know where you were. And that sense of confusion, if you like, is essential for these places. They are unexpected. And you see this where people are taken to a place that has been changed and it's unrecognizable. And everybody's been talking about how it changes behavior. It changes sort of speeding cyclists into more considerate cyclists. Whether they want to be more considerate or not, the landscape shapes their behavior. And yeah, it's clearly the only option. Or is it? There are other options available. We know of them, and that sort of traditional way of doing it is incredibly powerful. I think it exerts a great sort of gravitational pull on schemes. It's very hard to resist them. To do something different, you have to be a bit of an iconoclast. You have to ask more complicated questions, and then you're asked to come up with the explanations for them. And they're all over. They're kind of missed opportunities. So all of the SUD schemes are about slowing water down. Well, here we are. Let's build a hill. Let's speed up that water. And so that could be, as has been talked about earlier, a very different space, and that isn't happening. And then the kind of the iconic so-called schemes are all over the place. Hard angles, hard surfaces. They're what is meant to make these places to be. it intrigues me how there's this obsession to put trees in boxes. I'm not sure why that became such an irresistible urge, but it's there. And it seems counterintuitive because you're just depriving the chance that tree is going to survive. And these kind of landscapes, this hard paving, does create a kind of rewilding, I suppose, but it's not the kind of rewilding that cares about your safety, cares about your quality of life, cares about where you live. It's the kind of rewilding that comes up and interrupts your quality of life and puts your life at risk. And with climate change coming, and more sort of flood events that are harder and harder to cope with, we don't really have a choice, fundamentally, if we're serious about the well-being of our communities. And Copenhagen found that to its cost, and of course it's undergoing now, and has been for a few years, a large-scale planning exercise where whole neighbourhoods are being made to be much more kind of climate resilient, and London has been learning about that too. And that sort of large-scale approach, which has very small-scale solutions, as we've been hearing today, is fundamental to that. And I think that when you see it and see the vision and see the scope, then truly we start to have that kind of momentum effect. And there's a lot of talk about schemes being compliant. It's not really a word I like. It sounds very grudging. Like you've been forced to do it. If my kids are compliant, I know they don't really want to do it. Their hearts aren't in it. It's probably not going to be very good homework as a result. None of us get there through being compliant. We want exceedance. We want inspiration. We want to break the mold and to fundamentally create stuff that, although it may not be unique in terms of its application around the world, it's unique to that setting. It's never been done before in that setting. And when you sort of see these spaces and experience them, I kind of think that surely the future is to raise the bar, is to create schemes that have, the word is overused, but have a legacy. There's something that will be proud and be self-reinforcing. And it's almost a moral choice. We have the choice to do just enough to kind of make it okay. But climate change is coming. People's homes, people's lives are at risk. So if we have that choice, why not make it something that is revolutionary, that is different, that is evolutionary, that takes on board all of the advances that other people have made and improve on them, and create cities that are safer, more easy to live in, flourishing, vibrant environments. Thank you very much.